Welcome to the Sold Too Early Sports Card Podcast, where I've been fired from agencies in 2024 as often as the Giants have won this year. That's Kai. I'm the harbinger of layoffs. Yeah, this is actually kind of crazy. I keep getting fired, Kai. How the hell are you?
I'm doing good. That might go up to 3 when the Falcons play the Giants. So I hope you're ready to get fired again.
So, no, not for nothing, Kai. First off, my job is fine, actually. I keep on joining teams in my agency that keep getting fired. That's the joke. Up to 3 in the last calendar year. The Giants, also 3 wins in the last calendar year. So, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad here, man. It's just dumb. I'm used to it already. So I don't think the Giants will beat the Falcons. I am excited to keep losing. We will pull up a take-a-thon as usual for our weekly look at how bad the Giants are. And would you believe, Kai, they're quite bad. They're still in running. They're still in the running for the number 1 pick of the draft, thankfully.
I mean, it's honestly going to be very close if you guys both lose out. You guys are 0.005 away in strength of schedule. So, I mean, I would assume you guys both take a quarterback, but who knows?
I would be very surprised if the Giants do not take a quarterback at 2 or 1. At this point now, I mean, there are obviously 8 teams here in contention, realistically, for the number 1 pick. In a world where the Bears end up at number 1, I would just laugh. I don't think it's possible for them. I don't think the Giants or the Raiders can win 4 games this year. So, the team that would be the most shocking now, as we continue to go through, obviously, like the NFL season and like another week goes by, the number 1 team that'd be the most shocking to get the first overall pick would probably be the Jags. Frankly, if you looked at it compared to like expectations going into the year,
the Jags.
I said Jags.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Jets.
I mean, like, sure, I understand that, but like their hope was a 40-year-old quarterback coming off an Achilles injury to lead them to the promised land. And shockingly, that didn't work. Now, Rodgers has not played terrible. He's definitely not played up to his standard of play, which is why he's getting all the shit he deserves. Because when you're throwing, 35 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, or whatever he did, like in his prime, give or take, you can get away with being a little bit of a weirdo. When you're doing like, okay, you really can't. So, I can see why the Jets are bad, obviously, just objectively. Jags were a trendy pick. Raiders obviously were bad. Giants knew were going to be bad. New England, that was kind of a toss-up based on, like, when you thought Drake May would play, how good he was going to be, whatever else. Panthers, I'm not shocked. They're trash. Titans, I frankly thought would be in contention for number 1. I think I remember talking about how bad I thought Will Levis was, even in spite of all the Mason Rudolphs that I owned. Cleveland deserves it, and you know what? Yeah, that's pretty not shocking overall.
It'd be funny. I mean, not funny for you, but it's if you guys got the first pick and Shedeur did a Phillip Rivers and didn't want to, or was it Phillip Rivers or Eli Manning and didn't want to go to you guys?
So, I mean, if you get 1, that's fine, because then you just take the other quarterback.
I mean, I guess it's Cam Ward, but like I don't envision any of them really being good, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But
it doesn't matter at this point. The Giants have to try. If we get the second pick and the Raiders get number 1, I'm going to irrationally convince myself that it's kind of like the CJ Stroud Bryce Young thing, where like, oh, that guy's gonna be bad anyway. I didn't want him. I always wanted Shedeur or Cam. And if the number 1 pick ends up being good and the Giants pick ends up being bad, hypothetically, I will be fucking so salty.
I'm still in the belief that you guys should sign a 1 or 2 year guy and tank again for Arch Manning or something.
Arch Manning would be hilarious. I mean, it's very Giants to do that. I just don't think it's going to happen. I mean, Drew Lock has been incredible at losing games, though. So I will give him that. There was a point on Sunday where he was like 0 for 8 passing. And I'm not saying I can do anything on the NFL football field. Don't get me wrong. I would shit my pants every play. I could at least get the ball and throw it into the ground and be as productive, hypothetically, than 0 for 8 for 0 yards, which is not saying much, obviously. And then he also had a play at some point in the second or third quarter where it was like a third down, and he could have ran straight to maybe get the first down, but he instead ran to the right and got tackled. So I'm loving the Drew Lock experience. He's in fact a lock for the XFL.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You guys probably aren't like a quarterback away, but I would, if I was the GM, I would take like Hunter or the Tet McMillan or whatever, the receiver.
No, Giants are. You can't draft a wide receiver now. The Giants need a cornerback. Ironically enough, they need defensive lineman. They need offensive line.
Your D line's good.
What?
Your D line's actually good.
You need another guy next to Dexter Lawrence.
You have Dexter Lawrence. You have Thibodeau. You have Ojulari, but he's a free agent.
You need one more guy there. That's not the highest need for the Giants, but like cornerback, definitely a huge need.
Do you guys have any DBs? I don't even know any of them.
There was the guy we drafted last year, who I'm forgetting. Deontay Banks.
Oh, is he good?
Okay, like the Giants definitely need a corner.
Probably need a lineman too.
The Giants have a lot of issues. Like you can get away with Malik as the wide receiver 1, obviously. Wide receiver 2 is a huge question mark with Darius Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson, Jalen Hyatt has obviously not worked out. I don't remember who our tight end is. I mean, that goes to tell you.
Theo Johnson, right?
Maybe. Like, I think he got hurt. Yeah. So, there's a lot of issues. I guess you could build around like Tyrone Tracy at running back. I mean, he's been pretty
Tyrone
good.
Tracy.
I mean, he's been pretty good. I mean, once again, like Saquon, if they kept him, would have done nothing to really fix anything. The Giants probably would have been like 4-9, like struggling anyway, would not have mattered. It sucks to see him on the Eagles. Obviously, it is what it is, but like, you know, he's at least showing what he could have been, because the Giants definitely should never have drafted him ever. But
yeah,
it do be like that sometimes. But speaking of all the NFL players and their sexy cards, hey, Prizm Football is pre-releasing, and oh my god, it's really expensive. The pre-release, as of today, this is the 10th. This actually comes out next week. We're not sure if we're going to do a podcast for next week due to obviously Christmas holiday and stuff. I may do a solo episode. Kai's unavailable. I might get a guest. That is just a little behind the scenes, so figured we talk about it now. This is getting scary. This is getting extremely expensive. Obviously, you're pricing out the average collector. You know, my kids can't open up the Prizm anymore. Whatever. It was going to happen inevitably when things got expensive. People were collecting expensive cards. But $1,100 a box times 12. My math's not so good, but that's quite expensive, Kai.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about it before we started recording, but I mean, it's definitely expensive. I think if you're going to look at it compared to like the last 5 years, I mean, I personally think it's probably the deepest class of potential players you can pull out of any Prizm in the last probably 5 or 10 years. I don't know if you agree or not.
So I actually do enjoy the fact this is coming out during the NFL season. I mean, you look at this key rookie list: Caleb, Jaden, Marvin Harrison Jr., Bo Nix, Drake May, Roma Dunze, Malik Neighbors. We've not even gotten down to Michael Penix, and there's still Brock Bowers, J.J. McCarthy, Brian Thomas Jr. There's
Lad McConkey's insane.
Yep. There's a really, like, you have a very solid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have a solid dozen people here. And any break, hypothetically, you get here, other than the Bears, because the Bears is just actually nuclear hot with Rome and Caleb, you end up with, like, the Raiders. You're pretty content with that. The Jags, the Giant team with Neighbors. Like, this is a really well-balanced potential, like, hey, I'm joining a random team break. I know it's expensive, but hey, I have a 1 in 3 shot of getting a pretty good team. Shit, I might as well give it a shot.
Yeah.
Like even Kai and I were talking about this before the podcast. I was looking into breaks for Prizm, and I found something else instead that we'll get to a little bit later. But the more that we sit here and kind of talk about it, the more I actually do agree with you. I know this is expensive. I know this is crazy. I personally am against where this is trending in the sports card world, but I've begun to come around to the idea like my personal opinion versus what I do as a business, quote unquote, have to be counteracting. Even if I know that, in my opinion, it's all shit and I don't love it a ton.
Yeah, and I mean, the crazy part is we have, I don't know if this has really happened, but we have maybe 2021, I guess, but you have 4 quarterbacks who are playing actively and they're all playing like relatively good.
Yep.
You have 2 that haven't played, so obviously they're going to be fine to buy and sell. Like there's no downside there. I mean, Penix could play soon, who knows? But then you have 3 to 5 receivers who are all like really good. Like they're not like average in your prospecting that they might be good. Like they are really good. It's the tight ends like generational. Like I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
I mean, you have 5 capable wide receiver ones, and I'm including Brock Bowers in that list of wide receiver because he's just so goddamn good. You have Marvin Harrison Jr., who's been kind of quiet a little bit, I would say. I think he had a bad week 1, exploded week 2, and then kind of been a little bit of an afterthought. I feel like in terms of like how people are thinking about them. Rome Odunze has actually started to trend up after their offensive coordinator got fired. Malik Neighbors has not caught a touchdown since week 3. That's not his fault. That's the Giants. Malik is the guy, and I'd be very shocked if you gave him a capable quarterback next year if he didn't go for like 1,200 yards and like 10 to 15 touchdowns. He could be that guy. Their second coming photo back.
He looked like a superstar when Daniel Jones was playing decent.
Well, that's like, I don't even know what Malik's stats actually are. Whatever they are, I guarantee they're actually like under what I would expect for a player of his talent. As of right now, 80 catches, 819 yards, 3 touchdowns.
I'm honestly surprised it's that high. I thought it would have been lower.
Kai, I'm legitimately surprised as well. There is no reason why next year, because he'll probably end up finishing around 105 receptions, 1,100 yards, 4 touchdowns, give or take. Like, you give him a decent QB next year, it could easily be 1,250.
He also missed, 3 games, 2 games?
Oh, shit, yeah.
He missed from September 26th to October 20th.
He was out about a month, so he could easily go and double these stats next year with a decent QB. And that's me drinking the Kool-Aid as a Giants fan.
Nah, I mean, I fully agree. I think I said it in our group chat whenever he was playing. I was like, he's the superstar. Like, he looks insane.
Yeah. Brian Thomas has also been incredible. I know that with T-Law hurt, his stats have definitely trended down a good amount, but like, I would say that Brian Thomas could be a top 10 wide receiver at his peak.
Yeah, pretty much same stats, more touchdowns. 30 less catches, same amount of yards.
Yeah, this guy, he can take the top off a defense. Like, and that's with T-Law a good amount of the year. I mean, obviously, so there's a lot of talent in the NFL right now at skill positions, but I think he could be a top 10 wide receiver in a year or two. Brock Bowers, arguably, he's a top 3 tight end.
He's probably the best tight end. I mean,
like, I wanted to say that, but I was worried about saying it.
I mean, statistically, it's not even like close.
So you have 4. I'll say conservatively. You have 3 number 1 wide receivers here: Malik, Brian Thomas, and Marvin Harrison Jr. You have arguably already, as a rookie, the best tight end, at least in terms of like offensive production. Because I think
he's going to be all pro first team, right? I mean,
I would imagine.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and say I know how he does in a blocking scheme or run blocking or whatever.
No one cares about blocking.
I'm not going to pretend to know it. But what I will say here is you already have 3 capable number 1 wide receivers. You have the best tight end in football right now in terms of offensive game. You have 4 starting QBs have all played exceptionally. And you know what? Some have had rookie struggles. There was like a month where they didn't throw a touchdown pass. And then they'd obviously all started trending up in their own certain ways. 2 have not played. And then you have guys on that second tier, which is still pretty good, of Romo Dunze, who should be pretty good down the line, if not already. You know, obviously there's a little bit of growing pains there with Caleb. Lamakaki is pretty damn good too. I don't know if he'll be.
I'm a big Lad McConkey guy.
I don't know if he could be a true number 1, but like he is definitely an exceptional player, and that's almost an afterthought. And we haven't even talked about Xavier Worthy, who could be a Tyreek Hill and you know, Tyreek Hill type. They're not really using him properly right now in Kansas City, which is kind of weird, but like whatever. It's been a weird year for them. Blake Corum is interesting. I know he's starting to get some run with the Rams. That'll be tough, obviously, with Kyron Williams, but you just never know with running backs.
I mean, A.D. Mitchell, Keon Coleman, Leggett are all could be wide receiver 1s, theoretically.
Ricky Pearsall could be pretty solid, especially if Debo is not brought back. It's actually, the more I look at it, the more I'm starting to convince myself that this is a really solid draft.
And then we didn't even like mention, not that like we agree with it, but there's also like the tier 2/3 of like quarterbacks that suck. People are gonna buy them.
Joe Milton, Spencer Rattler,
yeah. Jordan Travis.
I don't even know who Jordan Travis is.
The FSU one. He's the Jets backup, like his 3rd string maybe. He sells really well.
Does he actually? That's kind of funny. Yeah, this is an expensive pill. This is I would not buy this to rip myself. This would be one of those things where I joined a group break. We were doing some of the math before this, assuming that you get boxes for $1,100 each times 12. That is what?
I don't remember the math, honestly.
I'm doing it right now.
I mean, I think when I did it, it was like for a breaker to make any sort of money on boxes at like public pricing, which obviously they're not paying that. Probably the spots would have to be at least like $450 for random teams.
Yeah, so it's not economical, but it's one of those where I would throw $1,000 or so, give or take, on a couple breaks overall. Not in one shot. I'm not made of money. But I would throw a couple bucks on there and see what happens, because with the amount of people who are buying heavy, bro, let me cash you out. I'm going gold hunting and kabooms, and everyone likes the blue ice too, which is really interesting. I always notice that. Everyone always wants
the blue ice. It depends what color of blue ice it is. There was the 1 year in Prizm. I don't know if they did it in football. I know basketball. They made it like a dark blue, and it looks so much worse than the light blue.
The point is, the top 3 parallels that I see people asking about, at least on Instagram as of right now: golds, black fine ice, and blue ice. Really weird. I guess no one has love for like the red to $2.99 or one of the 15. Do we know of any new parallels?
So
I can't wait.
I think football, they're adding, this is like speculated, but I think they're adding like a purple wave that's numbered or something.
Okay.
Purple ice, I think, is speculated. I don't know if that's been.
I thought that was already.
Did they have that last year? I don't know.
I think Stroud has the purple ice.
Probably then. I don't know. One of my sneaky favorites is always the purple power out of 49. It doesn't sell for anything, but it's like low numbered. I don't think it looks that bad. I don't know.
Yeah, that's Josh Allen's year. I don't know anything else beyond that. But I mean, Prizm's always going to have new parallels added. Bowman Chrome, for instance, for baseball, obviously had Cracker Jack, bubble gum.
It was like, yeah.
So I can't wait for like Dirty Dog Red to come to Prizm Football, or like Pristine Yellow.
They added the White Knight at like 3 last year or whatever.
Did they? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it was like a little like the Panini Knight logo.
That's so dumb. What's another funny parallel I can think of? I mean, Pylon was a thing once upon a time. That was a 1 of 1.
I was a fan of those, though.
Oh, no, I'm not making fun of it.
It's a 1 of 1, at least.
No, the Pylon was sick. I'm actually not memeing that one. What are some other funny parallels you could use? I guess hypothetically, if I'm being more serious for a second, you could do like first down, number to 10, like something like that. I don't even want
to give them ideas.
I know. Well, there's only a couple more years left of Prizm anyway, so they're going to just milk it for what it is.
I mean, there's a couple years left of Prizm from them.
the point is,
who knows?
there is no shot that we're sitting here in 4 years when Panini loses the licenses and this box is more than $200.
Yeah.
No one's gonna fucking care. I can't imagine an influencer going around big, yo, bros, it's the 2029 NFL draft class here with Prizm Football. Get your favorite team for the New York football team, NFC, or your favorite guy from the New York Jets AFC. Make sure you get QB1 for your favorite team of the Washington football team that we actually have the name for.
Yeah, I mean, I think it always just comes down to like obviously what's hot at the time. And I mean, this is just like the perfect storm of everything. I don't really know if this ever happens again. I mean, 6 quarterbacks, 4 of which are like good, like already. I don't know. It's kind of insane.
It's a little bit different. When it happened with Joe Burrow's draft class, because it was him, Tua, Herbert,
Hurts.
Which,
I mean, I don't remember when the product came out relative to the season, but Herbert didn't start the season. Hurts didn't start the season. I don't know. I don't know if Tua started the season. I don't think he did.
I think Tua was the backup, at least for a couple games. And Burrow was bad. Don't forget that
Burrow was bad. Yeah.
And then he got hurt too.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like, it's not even, that was an insane product, and it's not even like comparable. Like half the quarterbacks sucked or didn't play.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of those times where I will fully give in to the hype beast mentality here. I know this is going to be good. I'm going to throw some money behind it to believe in it. And I'm not going to sit here and rip boxes of this because that's ridiculous. But I'll throw some money into a break or two. And you know what? You never know what's going to happen. What do you think?
I was just going to ask you one of these.
What do you think the Jaden Daniels 1-of-1 black finite goes for?
Oh, well, I was going to do a more like easy to track example, but we can do that too. I would say the Daniels 1-of-1. I mean, it's definitely going to sell like privately, I would guess.
I would not be shocked if it goes to public auction.
I'm going to guess 75K.
Oh, easily more.
I don't know. I think weirdly enough, I think the Bo Nix does more. I mean, I think him, Caleb, and Bo, and even Drake May are kind of all be kind of in the same price range, honestly.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to tell you that because of how the storm is going, and this is the right time, and actually I think the market for the high-end football world is actually a good spot. I think each of their 1-of-1s, their true 1-of-1s, goes for at least $75,000 upwards of 6 figures of each of them.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the Mac Jones did what, 100, and that was when the market was crazy though. So I mean, I was thinking kind of like a little bit lower, but also they're better than him, so it's like kind of evens out a little bit. I don't know.
That's what I think too. Like, and I'm saying 4 separate QBs are going to cross 6 figures.
I wouldn't be surprised if the McCarthy and Penix do like 40 or 50.
Like, I shit on Bryce Young all the time. We know that Bryce Young 1-of-1 did $50,000, and that was after he had a bad rookie year. Because remember, that product came out in the offseason. Or at least the car was in the offseason, I should say. So I think, hypothetically, a player that has done nothing would sell for about the same, if not even more, than a Bryce Young after his bad year because of, he could be anything, or, I have so much money and no IQ points. I'm going to buy this. Now, do I think it's a smart move? No. Do I think it's going to happen? I do. I really think it's going to happen, especially on Penix or JJ.
I was going to ask you, I guess, more of an easy example that we can like guess on would be like if you want to pick like a Jaden Daniels or like a Bo Nix or a Caleb, like Blue Ice, and what we think the first couple do, over under or something like that.
I'm going to say the first Blue Ice to hit auction. By now, actually.
It doesn't really matter. Like the first like public eBay sales.
I think they're going to be each over $2,500 for the first one.
Yeah, I was going to guess like 2,000 to 3,000.
Yeah. Like, it's so funny to me that we're just throwing around those numbers because once again, Prizm is an amazing product. The odds of you hitting that card of that player in that box is low. It's
Well,
especially actually.
they went back and forth between being out of 99 and out of like 125, 175 or something, right?
I thought they were always the 99.
I could have swore 1 year they mixed it up, but either way, it's like similar, I guess, out of roughly like 100 copies. I mean, the odds you hit that are not great.
Here's the thing too. I didn't even see this until just now. It's 10 number cards per box. So
That actually seems like more than they usually give you. I could be wrong, but
so there's 12 packs per box, and then obviously 12 box per case. So you have 20 chances to hit basically a dozen to 15 different players.
yeah. And then you get a certain number of silvers, right?
It doesn't
Does
say.
that say one rookie? No, it's at the top. I think it said one rookie silver per box. Is that true?
It says one rookie prism per box.
That's crazy.
That can't be right.
That can't be right. There's no shot that's accurate.
A hunt for super short print Prismania, Aurora, and profiles. Plethora of highly collected prism parallels. I don't know. That's really one per box can't be correct.
There's no shot that's accurate. I'm trying to find 2023 because there's just no chance that's accurate. Why can I not find 2023?
I just did it here. So there's 3 base prism and 1 rookie prism per box in 2023, they say.
Are we like stupid? I never thought it was that low.
I don't know. I mean, is it possible that they've actually just made so many like silvers that we just are numb to it?
I mean, obviously you have like retail and stuff, which the main cards are silvers, but like I don't know if you saw Zane's story earlier, but he posted something about the mega box has like 6 silvers and like 3 color random. Like there's no way a hobby box has 1 rookie silver. I'm having a hard time comprehending that.
So even 2022 says 3 base and 1 rookie prism per box.
Do you think they mean per pack? And it's just an accident? You don't get 3 base rookies per box. It's just not true.
I don't know.
I think it has to be per pack.
Oops, that's
because you don't get 3 base rookies in an entire box.
2021 doesn't even mention that. It just mentioned 4 silver prisms per box, 10 numbered prisms per box.
I'm like pretty confident it's 1 silver a pack.
2020 doesn't even mention that. 2 autos per box. Yeah, weird.
It's a large pack. It's 12 cards. I'm like pretty sure you get X number of veteran base, X number of rookies, 1 or 2 silvers, and then like 1 or 2 numbered cards in a pack.
I mean, there's got to be something wrong here. We have to be missing something.
Wait, scroll down. The blue, what does that say? 3 base prism.
Where are you reading?
The blue. You get 3 silvers in a box, it looks like, and one of them is guaranteed to be a rookie, I guess. I don't know. That doesn't seem right to me.
10 number prisms, 3
24 rookies, so you get 2 rookies a pack.
So this doesn't make any fucking sense then.
I don't know.
We'll know in a week or so, but this is very interesting.
I just don't remember you only getting 1 rookie silver per box. Unless the 3 can also be rookies, but you're only guaranteed 1.
Maybe, I mean...
But even then, there's a ton of veteran silvers, so you obviously get a couple of those a box. I don't know. It's racking my brain for some reason.
Maybe we're just missing something here, because I have to see how the product breaks, because you know what? I'm just not following.
I mean, obviously, there's a chance that 10 numbered cards, you can get like 5 numbered rookies, but...
Yeah, of course, which would make sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we're just misunderstanding this, but this is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, we've seen how many silvers there are in Prizm in the past, so...
I guess we're not really factoring in, like, you know, what is there, like a fast break, there's retail, there's mega boxes, there's monster boxes or whatever, there's hanger packs. There's a lot of different ways the silvers come out, you know.
There's hobby, there's jump. Isn't there? No, there's not jump.
No, I don't think there's jump. I think it's like there's not a breaker's delight. It's just fast break, I think, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of Prizm. There's
but
a
it's
lot.
Like, yeah, they accumulate probably faster than we think, even at one rookie silver per box. Because I mean, retail, you're probably going to get a rookie silver per retail box. Maybe, I'm not sure.
Wouldn't that be? That would almost be a move too. Honestly, is just go buy retail wax.
It happened last year with C.J. Stroud and Richardson. I was selling. I probably sold 100 Stroud base 10s at least, if not more, for like 150 bucks. I mean, they got down to like 70, 80 at the end, but you could buy a blaster for $20 and get a Stroud and make $100.
Are we going back to target hunting again? Like where we're just gonna
this is the year to do it if you're gonna do it. I mean, these blasters are gonna sell for $50. I guarantee it. 60, 70, 80 bucks.
I can't wait for the smelly old men to come back and be like, "Oh, I missed you." Like, here we go.
Now that you mention that, I am going to go when I'm home to all the ones around me and try to find some.
I might look too. There's no reason not to. It was very weird. It was very weird when Costco had the oversized downtown ones.
Those tank so fast.
No shit. You don't
Those
say.
Are brutal.
Because no one gave a fuck, and it was just like kaboom, downtown, kaboom.
Those oversized downtowns are like nearly worthless.
They deserve to be. No one fucking liked them.
I mean, the problem is like it's a downtown, sure, but no one like collects oversized cards. Like it's just junk. No one wants it.
I know. It's crazy.
But
speaking about things that people apparently collect, or at least want to spend a lot of money on, the Caitlin Clark 1/1 Select Gold Vinyl PSA 1010 on auction at Golden a couple days ago sold for $234,000.
That's just stupid.
It's anything I say here is going to make me sound sexist, so I'm not going to say anything crazy, but just like, why?
Just let it out.
Just why? This card sold for more money than she actually genuinely makes from playing professional basketball. I googled it. She makes like $100K, which is awesome. Good for her. She deserves it. She deserves more, and she earns more from like sponsorships and whatever else. But if you sat down, oh my god, can you imagine like an NBA player, like their card selling for double what their salary is?
I mean, it's just not possible.
Literally is impossible because like even the most scrub player makes high six figures, if not even millions at the point.
I think the minimum contract's like 600,000 or something.
So obviously, there's never going to be a case like that happening in the NBA. Baseball, I guess theoretically it happens maybe in the COVID market. When Jason Dominguez is 1/1 super soul.
I guess minor league contract without signing bonus, it could happen. Yeah.
But
that's like super nitpicky. Yeah.
Yeah. This is asinine.
Yeah.
I just don't see how you're going to make money on this. No, you're not going to keep this. And if you do, you're lying. But whatever. I good for you. What is the Angel Reese one gonna sell for? What is the Juju Watkins one gonna sell for in a couple of years? Because Juju
Beckers.
What?
Paige Beckers.
Yeah, like there's actually talent in the WNBA, but we're not watching it. Like, let's
speak for yourself, Dave.
Kai, do you want to go back down the route of naming the teams? Because I've forgotten.
No, okay, I'll gladly not do that.
Thank you. At least when I'm wrong, I can admit it. But it's just crazy to me.
Well, what do we think? I mean, I'm not sure when it comes out, but what do we think the base Prizm does? Black 101?
Probably more.
I'm gonna guess $1 million.
It's one of those where like I don't even know who buys that card. Like I'm serious.
Does.
No, she doesn't. Like, I'm serious when I say that. It'd be awesome. I'm not going to lie about that. But like, who genuinely, who watches the WNBA, who has that kind of disposable income available, who would genuinely want the item, not just like women empowerment or like I have money, let me waste it or whatever else. Like, I'm going to buy this card because I love Caitlin Clark and I love what she does for the Indiana Fever. In my brain, it just does not click on who.
Probably Shine.
Okay, sure. Then you know what? Yeah, Shine's gonna be the one to own it, and that makes sense. Good for him. Like, he deserves it if he wants it. But
That's
like,
about it.
yeah, like I just don't.
Maybe an NBA player.
Dude, the WNBA players get mad at them. Like, no, have you seen?
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. The number thing.
There are multiple instances. This is gonna make me sound so bad. Whatever. There are multiple instances when like NBA players either like compliment WNBA players or like shout them out or like try to do like nice things, and the WNBA players get like offended, and it's really strange that there's like multiple instances of that. That's a couple of years old at this point. I really don't know or care.
That was a while ago, yeah.
It's a couple of years old. I mean, there was Brittany Griner said she could beat DeMarcus Cousins one-on-one, which is ridiculous in any world.
And then she got locked in
Russian jail, yeah. And then we traded her for the Kai's on mute. Then we traded her for the arms dealer, the bringer of death. Hashtag that is a pretty bad trade overall, I gotta say, but what do I know? Did you be like that? Kai, I can now hear your fan.
Sorry.
You good there? Is your PC about to explode? Kai's having a problem. Anyway, what I was gonna say is, listen, if you collect the WNBA, that's awesome. Good for you. You deserve it. Like, super cool. WNBA Prizm is gonna be a sick product to go and buy and flip cards and, you know, either go hunt down at Target or join a cheap break. I can't imagine it being super expensive. I do think it's a little crazy, obviously. It is what it is there. I don't really see the long-term trajectory of that kind of product, but also I made a ton of money on Japanese baseball, so what the fuck do I know? I'm the problem, I guess.
Unfortunately, my mic isn't cooperating, so.
What's happening down there, Kai? You all right?
I don't know.
Oh, God. All right,
Kai's... And then it's not plugging back in.
All right, go figure that out. I'm going to lead into the conversation about Fanatics Fest while you go.
Right, I'll take a hiatus.
Go mute yourself while you figure that out. All right, Kai's gone. Welcome back to my podcast, everyone. So Fanatics Fest 2025, obviously last week we discussed it. I actually was able to lock in a dealer spot with a couple of friends. Rob, oh my God, what's Rob's fucking Instagram? Collector of cards. Hello. What's Rob Harold's Instagram? Do you know it?
I didn't know he had an Instagram.
Really? All right. Well, the Cash Out King. God, it's like collectible cards or something. Collector's Choice cards. The Cash Out King, Robert Harold, and I are going to be setting up together, along with Kendall Konami card. Kendall has to get on this podcast. I keep meaning to get him on here. Maybe next week I'll try to. That is going to be a clusterfuck. It's going to be a disaster, and I'm so looking forward to it.
What you guys? What is it, like 3 tables, right?
Your mic still sounds like shit, by the way. It does sound bad. Yeah, go fix that. It is 3 tables.
Right.
I hear your fan more now.
Hold on.
Just play fucking technical difficulties. Not as good.
I clicked a little button that says reduce background noise.
All right, it's acceptable. So what it is, it's 3 tables again, kind of like a C shape, 3 showcases per table. We actually splurged a little bit more. One thing the show does that I think more shows should do in the future, honestly, is charge you for space. Like, if you want to be on a corner spot, that's more valuable. Our booth was $32.50. It was the same amount actually as last year. A normal booth in like an inline would have been $3,000. It's expensive, don't get me wrong, but I would pay more for a premium location. We've seen shows like Minnesota do that in the past. I'm sure Atlanta did that actually too, because I remember the map, thinking about it out loud. But like, I'm okay with paying for a premier spot.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially if you're gonna already spend $3,000 for a booth. I mean, if it's a show like this, I don't see a problem with spending a little bit more just to have one of the better ones or a better spot or a better, more space, like comfortable. I mean, you're gonna be there for a whole, what is it, like 3-4 days, I think.
It is June 22nd, June 20th to
Oh, it's
22nd.
literally right there. Okay.
Yeah, so that's I'm sure there'll be a setup thing. I'm not sure I'm going to go on the Thursday. I skipped last year because I commuted into the city all 3 days. Maybe I'll go in on Thursday. I'll have to see. But to take off work for that and then probably not sell anything kind of sounds like a drag, especially when I'm going to take off Friday as well. I don't know. We'll have to see if it works out. Not hearing a ton from the dealer perspective just yet. For anyone who did not attend this show last year, I definitely recommend it. It was the second best show in the country last year. I know there is a lot of negativity around Fanatics. I'm definitely agreeing on a lot of it. I've openly said negative things about them. But if this show happens and they stick to just this show once a year, then we're having a different conversation about where Fanatics falls in terms of hierarchy of the sports card world shows. They floundered tremendously with Orlando and LA and Pittsburgh. All shows were canceled.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to go to this. It's just expensive, and I definitely would need to book it by probably January at the latest. I mean, I can't imagine there's a ton of like fairly priced stuff that'll be left to stay at and get a table or whatever.
Even to get a table now, Kai, is gonna cost you at least $1,000, and that's only if you got in with friends who like didn't upcharge you for space. Because I could easily see people charging you $500 per showcase, which is crazy. And then you're starting to approach like a low scale national in terms of price. Don't forget, I paid $5,000 for showcase last year at the national. I still made money. It was crazy, but like that's.
I mean, the hotel alone for a weekend's got to be a good amount.
I actually, once again, I don't know because I'm not gonna have a hotel. I believe it's gonna cost a decent hotel in New York City around this area would probably be $250 to $350 a night, and that's just like a decent one. I mean, I guess theoretically you could like stay farther away from the Javits Center, but then like if you're not familiar with the area, do you really want to be dealing with New York if you're not familiar with it? So, there's trade-offs to that. You could definitely do it on a budget. If you were a lower end collector, I don't think this show is for you, and I don't mean that as an insult. I mean that more just like realistically. Like tickets, a VIP ticket is $500. I didn't even fucking know that until just now.
The only thing I will say is you probably actually get cool stuff for that.
So they messed it up last year though.
What did they do?
They like the VIP difference was like nothing, and like you got in a little bit earlier, but it was like so disorderly. Like it wasn't good. Tickets for this show just to get in for a day are $60 each. Kids are 30. Kids are $30. Like. This is not a cheap show. If you have low-end cards, I don't want to say it, but don't go. And that's not nice. But if you want to bring your wife and 3 kids, 2 kids, 2.5 kids, whatever, to the
2.5 kids.
If you want to bring 2 kids and your wife to the show because like they like athletes or like whatever, it's already going to cost you $200 to be there. It's crazy. Like. This is expensive. The average person is priced out of this. And is that okay? No. But why did everyone like it last year who had money? Because it was like the National with all the fat trimmed out. There were no vintage booths selling 1941 Leaf commons for 4 cents each. There wasn't a booth behind me selling random ass Leaf base cards for $1 on a table. Like you had to have money and things to sell to make money in order to make it financially responsible. You're gonna spend $3,000 otherwise just to sell $2 cards? No. So, it's is it good? Yeah. Is it acceptable? I don't know, but it's reality.
Yeah. No, I mean, it basically comes down to like, would you rather go to Fanatics Fest or like 2.5 other shows in theory?
I'd rather go to Fanatics Fest.
You think?
Yeah.
Do you think 2.5 is a fair number? Or do you think it's more like 3.5?
In terms of like, if I'm attending as a fan, if I don't collect cards, based on how I know how the show went last year, I'm going to Fanatics Fest.
Like, I think more so as like a dealer who has to fly and get a hotel.
So this is going to cost me, because I sold a showcase to a friend. So my cost all in is under $1,000 for this show, which is nice. That doesn't include travel. My bus tickets are $30, maybe $40 total per day. And then food, let's call it another $50 because probably lunch and dinner in the city. That comes into about $1,250 for the weekend, which is cheap. Honestly, for a show, for me, that's pretty cheap because I'm not flying anywhere. I'm not staying in a hotel, whatever else. Dallas cost me about $1,500 to $2,000 per show. So I am unfortunately not the best example here for comparing cost because I have the advantage of being, home. Like, this is a local show for me, which is crazy. If I had to spend $1,000 for a hotel room, because you're gonna need a hotel room if you're flying in, plus a flight, let's say it's $300 on Spirit or whatever, United, and you have to Uber to the hotel, and then you have to Uber back to the airport. Like, you could easily incur $2,500, $3,000 worth of expenses, and that's not even including if you go out after the show.
That's not including food, lunch, breakfast, water.
It could easily be $2,500 to $4,000 to be there just for a third of a booth. If you had an entire booth, if you're bringing in your boys and they're coming in and buying heavy, you might spend fucking $5,000 to $10,000 just being there on everything. So this is expensive. This is what you're paying for. I don't know, but what are you supposed to do? Yeah. And then one last thing I want to talk about, because this was funny before the podcast. I don't know. Platinum's going out of business. We were reading
about this.
This is really interesting. So we're reading about this before the podcast because we were talking about Prizm Football. And I'm like, hey, let me go get breaks, whatever. I was curious. Leighton didn't have them up, which is a shame. I want to go buy into breaks with people I like. And then I saw a couple of breaks that I ended up joining. I joined these breaks, and I'm sorry. But I read them, and I'm like, I have to see this. First one we have here for our mobile listeners who do not watch the screen, we have the net money bank, money to the bank, fire. What the fuck is that? I don't even know what that emoji is. Fire again, firecracker. The break of all breaks. If you don't have fun with this one, you're incorrectly spelled nuts. Finest soccer, Messi, Ronaldo, many more. 5 case random number 10 spot number 1. Kai had an aneurysm reading that, but I joined it.
This isn't even the stupid one.
But wait, there's more. Because I joined both breaks because I'm a fucking idiot. How about the firecracker, firecracker, baseball, basketball, money bag, suitcase of 2023 NBA first off the line spot, basketball, super filler for all read. This is epic cleaning out.
Oh, Dave. Breaking news on the pod.
What?
I'm sad and you're happy. What do you think?
Back to the Yankees?
8 years, $218 million.
You know what? That is what? About 25 a year, 27 a year.
Yeah, that's about 20. Yeah, 25, 26, 27, somewhere around
so
there.
Quickly, if Fried is going to be the number 2, he's 30. So you now have a postseason rotation of Cole, Fried, Rodon, and then you probably end up trading Stroman now or Cortez. That's a pretty solid 1, 2, 3 punch. And then you have Luis Hill at the 4, and then you have a Rodon or a Stroman or a Cortez at the 5, and then you trade the other one.
It's it's the largest contract for a left-handed pitcher in MLB history, I guess.
The Yankees definitely needed to add someone. And now that also then, once again, makes someone expendable. I mean, Luis Hill is cheap, so I imagine they'll keep him. But if you made him available, you would get a pretty good return for him. I mean, he's 24 24, 25, 26. He just won Rookie of the Year, so he's a quality arm. I hope they end up keeping him and they trade more of a veteran guy instead, but I wanted them to keep Soto, but if they're willing to kind of build around what I thought they should do, which is rotation, first baseman and third baseman, then so be it. So I'm excited to see that they at least did one step of the process of rebuilding the team, because the sum of the parts, instead of Soto, could be a freed Santander slash Kyle Tucker slash who's the other free agent outfielder everyone likes?
Kyle Tucker's not a free agent.
I know he's a trade target, but there's another outfielder Teoscar Hernandez. That's who I was blanking
he's
on.
Pretty solid.
And then, in the infield, I want Christian Walker. And I think they should also trade for Arenado, not for nothing. And I think this. I'm serious.
Is there anyone you guys aren't going to get?
So here's my rationale, especially now they just signed Freed. Cardinals want to cut payroll. And they also want to take on a contract in order to move for Arenado. You do Stroman for Arenado, and then whatever difference you need to do. The Cardinals will need some contract. The Yankees have that an okay prospect, make them take a little more money back, whatever. You get Arenado at third base. You sign Christian Walker, who's more of the value play at first instead of Pete Alonso. And then you get Santander or Teoscar Hernandez in the outfield. I don't think it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you're only signing like the best 5 free agents left or whatever.
That's not – you're signing first off 2. You're signing 2 of them, and you're trading for Arenado.
What if you guys traded for Crochet?
I don't think it's going to happen. That'd be ridiculous.
I don't think so, because you need your young outfielders now. And that's probably the best guys you would be able to trade.
They would have to trade Dominguez.
Or Spencer Jones, I guess. But
Spencer Jones is not –
he's not great. I really don't think Dominguez is great either. He's, 23, 24 already?
He's 22, actually.
He just seems like he's been a rookie for 5 years.
No, he has been. They've been talking about him since he was 17.
Yeah.
So, if you got Crochet, the Yankees would have the best rotation in baseball, and that's actually kind of crazy to say out loud, but it would be true.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of depressing. The Braves are never going to spend that much money on him, but I really thought he would be a Brave lifer.
I mean, Reed had an injury concern last year. If I remember, he had like a back issue or something, or a lat strain, if I recall.
Yeah, I think he had something. Also, the Nationals just got the number 1 pick next year.
Okay.
Ethan Holiday. Wow.
Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Yankees will get Crochet. I'd be shocked if they did.
I forgot you guys just paid Rodon a ton of money too.
Rodon actually was pretty decent this past year.
Your top 3 is making like a stupid amount of money.
Oh, of course they are. That's what the Yankees do. But not for nothing. The Yankees occasionally can develop decent pitching. It doesn't last forever. Luis Severino was pretty decent for a couple of years, and then he threw 20 innings in like 4 years and then left. And
Loizaga was pretty decent.
Loizaga got hurt. Yankees are actually incredible at developing relievers.
You guys also like sign and fix relievers.
That is one thing. That is one thing even Yankee haters have to admit is the Yankees do somehow develop incredible relievers, because Clay Holmes was a project from the Pirates. They developed Chad Green, I believe.
Yeah.
Loizaga kind of came up with the Killer Bees. Betances was pretty good for a bit. You go back to Jabba Chamberlain. Obviously, they kind of fucked him up.
Closer this year is the FSU kid. I forgot his name.
Luke Weaver. Weaver is actually a good example of someone they developed too, because he was kind of like up and down with the Cardinals for a bit. Cardinals, and then he went to somewhere else, I believe, and then he ended up on the Yankees. Yankees do develop relievers exceptionally. Starting pitching is very bad. Shout out Devi Garcia. Shout out.
I forgot about him. Jeez.
He fell. He was on the White Sox last time I looked. They don't really. I mean, Luis Hill is nice to have developed. I don't know how long he'll be good. Then you get like a Dango Herman who hits a perfect game, but then basically out of the league now. So hit or miss. Anyway, back to our platinum card break thing. Firecracker Fire, Firecracker Baseball, Basketball, Money Bag, Suitcase of 2023 NBA First Off the Line Spot, Basketball Super Filler for all read. This is ever cleaning out the store, then doing last hurrah monster inventory dump break must fill first. I bought a spot in this guy. I don't really know what I bought, but it looked interesting. So I will get a spot in the following. Something.
He's gonna get a spot in a 2021 Prizm break with Mac Jones.
That would be very interesting. I don't know what I bought, Kai, but it seemed
I don't know what I just spent $300 on.
I spent $275 first off, and secondly, if you're going to put the time to put this together, I have to imagine that it's gonna be interesting.
What do you mean spent the time? They just took all their junk and made a break out of it.
Have you seen what I've bought before, Kai?
Fair enough.
Hey, fuck you, man. Yeah, this will be interesting. I'll report back on this next week, either while you're here or we'll do a filler episode in between or some shit.
If it breaks next week, it might not break till 2026.
Listen, Platinum was the most popular breaker for years. They really were. And if this is the end of them, I can't say it's necessarily like a sad thing. It more just kind of shows you where the sports card world has gone. Because I've looked at their breaks for a while, and I think I can even show when I used to buy into them. Literally 2023, 2021, 2020, 2019, 2018. So like once a year, I've occasionally like bought it, and I'll also blur out my info there. Oops, I'm stupid, but whatever. Shout out editing later. This is it's just kind of crazy. It's they've been around for a while. It's a little sad, but not really. They've done some bad things. It is what it is, I guess.
Yep. Official number is 27.25.
Okay, that's right there on the math.
No word if there's any opt-outs yet or not.
Now I understand why Cashman was not doing interviews because he was called away during Baseball Tonight or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, baseball money is crazy.
Dude, I'm gonna make sure I teach my kids how to throw a baseball lefty. I don't care if they're right-handed or not.
It seems like it's really been the last like 4 or 5 years. Before that, it wasn't really like that crazy. I don't think.
I mean, it definitely was crazy, but like, we will see $1 billion contract in our lifetimes, and probably sooner than we think.
Yeah, I mean, if Ohtani was 25 or whatever in like 5 or 10 more years, he might get $1 billion. If that makes sense.
I understand what you meant. It's going to be the perfect storm would be not even a two-way pitcher or a two-way hitter, I should say. It would be another Juan Soto type where he debuts like 19 years old, or even A-Rod. A-Rod's actually the perfect example for this. Because A-Rod debuted at 18, he was a free agent, I think at 25, and then got $300 million in the early 2000s. Like, that is the type of player that can happen. And I'm going to just double check when A-Rod officially was a free agent.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, because Acuna would have been a free agent this year. If he never gets a single injury and wins like a second MVP, I think he maybe gets more than Soto.
So, no shot. And yeah, A-Rod became a free agent.
He's better than Soto if he doesn't get hurt.
The issue is more of the age.
He's the same age.
He's about to turn 27.
What is Soto, 25?
Yeah.
So they're the same age.
No, Acuna's literally about to turn 27 in 8 days.
Oh, I thought you said he's about to turn 26.
No.
So he's a year older than him.
And then Soto is October 25th, 1998. So he just turned 26. So
that's what we think he is. He could be like 45.
Maybe. Acuna is 1 full year older. So I mean that makes a difference, obviously. The perfect storm is like a Soto or A-Rod. They debut at 18-19. become a free agent at 24, 20. Actually, 25 is correct because A-Rod did. And they signed a 15-year, 16-year, $1 billion type contract.
Yeah, I mean, that would be what? I don't even know if I can type a billion in my calculator. But a billion would be, oh, you can't. Hold on. It's a $66 million AAV, which I guess is only, what, 8 more than Soto got?
It's 15, I think, from Soto.
Yeah. So it's not like that crazy, I guess.
No, it'll happen. It'll happen in our lifetimes. I can't say it's going to happen this decade or even next decade, but there'll be some kid who is either a two-way player or is just like the right age when he debuts, has the right skills, and is able to like put it all together. Ohtani now, in reference, like, because his money is so deferred, it's impressive. Don't get me wrong, but Soto's is more impressive because it's actual today's earnings, money today, upfront. Here you go. This is the contract.
I saw an interesting theory on the Ohtani thing. Is like the franchise could, in theory, just like put that money he's owed into like a S&P 500 every year, and they would make money on the money.
I don't think they're allowed to technically do that. I believe the way it works is they have to like leave it in an account, like an escrow, and let it grow.
I would assume they would, but like if they didn't.
Yes, I understand that. Okay. Dodgers are printing enough money as it is, but and they're going to sign Roki probably, and then they're going to have this rotation in baseball.
I have a bold prediction they don't get Roki.
Roki's going to the Dodgers or Padres.
I think he's going to go to like a sneaky team. I don't know which one, but I think he's going to go to like a sneaky team.
The sneakiest realistic team for Roki to go to, truthfully, Kai, is the Mariners.
Yeah, I'm going to say one of like the Mariners, Cubs,
no,
Rangers.
I don't think it'll go to the Rangers.
Something like maybe the Rays, one of those.
No shot. No, the realistic teams for him to go to, because everything apparently seems like he wants to be on the West Coast, is and the logical connections then point you to the Dodgers, obviously, because of Ohtani and Yamamoto, the Padres because of Yu Darvish, and then the Mariners because of, Ichiro. Now, in a world where he doesn't go to the West Coast is already shocking. The only other team that theoretically would make sense is the Yankees, which is just not going to happen. I would put the Yankees' chance of getting Roki at like literally less than 1%.
Why?
Because I just don't think it's possible. I really think, gun to my head, 95% chance he goes to the Dodgers, 3% he goes to the Padres, 1% Mariners, 0.5% Yankees, rest of field, whatever, 1.5% or whatever the math is, half percentage there.
Yeah, I saw something about he didn't want to go to like a team with annoying reporters or something.
They're all going to be annoying reporters for you, man.
Yeah. Man,
unless he goes to Kansas City, I don't even think you fucking find it on the map.
Actually, that'd be kind of interesting.
I know that'd be. I don't want that to happen, but that would be interesting. I'd be so mad if he went to Kansas City.
Well, Dave, what day are you gonna schedule to be going to adopt Dominican children?
Hi, I'm already working on it right now. Listen, 700.
The next great investment.
I'm not going to comment on that. I'll leave that for next week. Thank you guys for watching and listening. Next week, I'm going to talk about this with Joe with no context, or wherever I get to guest star. If not, then I'll just lay out my 5-step plan for harboring Dominican children for baseball talent. I'll see you guys then. Bye.